Hey, hello guys. Welcome to another lovely session with Blessed. Yeah. So today, here's the scenario. We'll be playing some track me fun stuff. We'll be looking at the Linux esque privilege escalation room, and I haven't actually done this before, so we're going to be walking through all the challenges in that room and see if we're able to complete it ASAP. Today I will not be using the TryAcme box. That's because I've got some problems with it on my host. I'm not sure why. So I'll be using my own box. I think I am already connected via the VPN, so you can see my IP address is up there. So we'll be working with that. Good way to start. Um, Privilege escalation is something that is very critical or important if you're going to be running any security audit or maybe a pen test or something like that. Um, that's because it can go two ways. It can go either horizontal or vertical. So if we're looking at horizontal privilege escalation, you maybe you need to execute a task and you don't belong to the group of users that you can move to another user who belongs to that group, just so you can use that instance to do what you want to do. Or the vertical, maybe you need to probably run some script or execute some binaries and you need root privilege to do that. You want to jump up, so that's vertical. You're going vertical escalation or horizontal escalation. Now, this is a technique that comes pretty handy as well if you're going to be doing some persistent stuff on the box, because at that level of persistence you may need root privilege to do that. So you may want to escalate your privilege if you're going to be doing persistence on that box or whatever box you have initial access on. So enough with the talking. Please, we've got a couple of videos as well on our YouTube channel. You could check them up. And I think we also started a cloud security series. We have the first video in there, and then we'll keep up with it. It should be about 7 videos in total. I urge you to go check it out. It's fun stuff to watch, and a couple of other videos which you have there on YouTube will be cool to watch as well. And please do like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And let's keep the hacking games going. Sorry, I've got a little issue with my voice this morning. Gonna grab something. Okay, great. All right, so now we're talking. Um, now that we've got the stage set, let's get right into this. We're going to start the machine. And whilst that is starting, we can just see the little read up there. It's telling us that this room is aimed at walking you through the variety of Linux privilege escalation technique. Now, this is something you find handy if you're taking the OSCP course, or maybe you're going to be doing pen testing as well in a Linux environment. It comes very handy. You can do this via exploiting misconfiguration, or you can just import some scripts and run some automated scripts to scan the whole box and reveal stuff to you. But most times, you may want to stay away from script and just rely on looking for bad file permissions, looking for wrong shares configuration, looking for stuffs like that that are basic or low-hanging fruits, then exploiting them to escalate your privilege. It could even be a wrong flag set on something like a text editor like Nano Vim. Imagine Vim has a suite bit set for it, and one can actually use that to exploit escalate privilege, as easy as that may sound. So let's get into this. I see we've got an IP. We're just going to quickly verify if we can reach that IP from our box. So we're going to ping 10.10.24.180. I hope we have a VPN thing going. Just going to verify that's okay. I see we've got a VPN set. We cannot reach it. Okay, maybe they've disabled ICMP. We can SSH into it. I see they say we have to SSH as a user. So 10.10. 10.24.180. Let's see. SSH refused. Why? 10.10.24.180. We'll try that again with user. Okay, so maybe the box was still putting up. Great. So got a password. And we have access into the box. I'm going to clear the screen quickly, check ID. You see we've got an infected user ID 1000. That's just a random user. We do not belong to the root group, so there is no sudo group there. We're just in the user group, and we've got this other group thing happening around us there. So that's fair enough. Good. Now we are on the box. I also would want to try something. I think I'm not sure, but I think I will skip that for now. Let's just proceed with this. Great. So we're in the box, and we're just going to tick this first two. They asked us to run the ID command, and they asked us what is the result. So it's got this bunch of so many stuff. We can just copy that results and give it back to them. Should that be the answer? I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this here. Okay, so that's good. I said this is why I prefer working with my own box, because if I was doing this, I'm not sure the bidirectional thing is set up. If I was doing this on their own box, which they have, but I use a paid account, so I'm sure it should be. I'm not sure. So let's move on to the next task. So let's quickly read through this. Let's say MySQL service is running as root, and the root user for the service does not have a password assigned. Wow, that sounds pretty scary and cool as well. We can use a popular exploit that takes advantage of user-defined functions, UDFs, to run system command as root via the MySQL service. So there is a service account. We can quickly, maybe, I'm going to stretch this a bit. I'm going to open another SSH session just because I want to have so the password is okay, so I can have that more than one session happening at the same time. Great. So we're going to maybe cut the content of it's a password, then maybe grab for MySQL. Let's see. MySQL. Just grab for MySQL. So we see there's the MySQL thing happening there. Okay. 104 server. Okay, good. I think that should be fine. They are telling us to change into the home directory. Okay, so I think I see there's something in the home tools. Let's go look it up. I hope this is something that we have. So let's see, we're already in home user tools. Go to tools, then list the content. Okay, so we've got this can exploit thing, MySQL UDF stuff going on there. So let's quickly change to MySQL UDF. Let's list the contents. So I see we may have to compile it. So because it's in C, can we just cut that content? This Raptor. Okay, so it's a C program. We can try to read through it to understand what it does actually, but I see it's just a short one. Okay. Starting from MySQL Oxided version specific. Okay. Then it gives us a usage. We have to just compile this. Then before we run it, for the root accounts, then pass that P flag, but there's no password, so we can just click enter and we should go and grab the root shell probably quickly. So let's try this out. Let's give it a shot. So we're going to clear the screen. So we're going to GCC. First, we're going to try to raptor.c, then pass the flag FTIC. Let's see. Okay, that runs. Oh, sorry. So we've got the other one there. Then we're going to run the GCC. Then we'll do a tag G this time around. Then shared. Pass the W1 flag. Then so name raptor underscore UDF 2.so. Okay, then we'll pass back O flag. Pass an output, then we'll put that as raptor UDF 2.so. Then as well as raptor UDF 2.o. LC. May have made a mistake in my typing. Can you look that up quickly? So I'm not sure why that ain't working out fine. I think I'm just going to grab this, copy this. Maybe I made some typos and paste this in here quickly. Okay, so that ran fine. Probably I'd made some typos. So we've got this thing going on here. So now we can execute that. I see if I cut the content of Raptor, the UDF to the C program, they had left an instruction here. Where's that? Great, I see this is it here. Then we can use this to execute it. And I see that's similar to this, but here it didn't pass that P flag. So we'll just see, we'll try that out. We'll get out of here, clear the screen. We see the content in that compiled code. Then we can just run that. MySQL.u, the roots we're trying to run as the root user. So we have this MySQL thing open up here for us. And I believe that is running as the root user. We can type help just to see around some commands that can be ran on that MySQL prompt open up there. So great. So we're moving on with the task. Now to say execute the following command on the MySQL shell to create a user-defined function to system using our compile exploit. So we've got the compile exploit in there. So we're going to execute the following command. I can just copy this and dump this, but I'll just type it. Maybe that might work pretty fine. So let's look through it. Use MySQL, then create tables. Okay, just random foo, insert into foo values. User tool MySQL Raptor, then select star. It's basic MySQL query language from foo into dump file. Okay. So the .so Raptor thing that we created, then create function, do system. Okay, I'll just, maybe I'll type the first one, use MySQL, then I'll copy the other ones and just paste them there. So the database has been changed to MySQL. Then I'll just create this, copy this, and paste it there. This is something you can do on your own. That's done. So what we're doing is we're creating the table foo, then basic, just create table foo, and put a line blob, just blob, random blob. Then we can insert into foo. We're inserting into the table now some values. So look at the values we're inserting into the table. Is that compiled code that which the code which you compiled? We're inserting it is in the user, in my home user tool, MySQL, then the raptor.d.so, the one that was compiled. Let me quickly change to tool here so we can look at it alongside. We can cd into MySQL stuff. So we can see the compiled code is what we're actually inserting into the table which we created, the table foo. So we'll execute this. So that has been inserted. Then we can now use the select query to select from foo into dump file, selecting what we just dumped into the table. Then we're creating a function using the create function. Then return integer name raptor. I think we've got that thing happening there as well. So we're just going to copy this, paste this. Then at this point, it says use the function to copy the bin bash to temp and set user ID permission. We've covered, I think we have a video about the set user ID permission thing. So we're going to use the select. Now the function which you just created, the do system, will use that function to copy bin bash. So if you look at the command, let me copy this first and paste it here. Then before we execute it, we'll just look at it. So we're selecting the function do system, then we're copying cp copy bin bash. Then we're taking it all the way to taking it all the way to temp root bash. So then we're changing the mode. We see we're attaching a sticky bit, making it an executable and attaching a sweet bit plus xs. So the x is we're attaching, making it executable. The s is we're attaching a sweet bit to it. I think it's going to be having the root suite set for it. So that's probably how the technique works. Enter this. So now we see we've got something in our table showing us that stuff there. Then exit out of MySQL shell. We're just going to exit it. We just put the exits. Now we're out of that shell. So let's see how the technique works. So if we go to our temp and run the same and press OK, run with that P to gain a root shell. It's just pretty easy as that. So we can just pass the command temp, then root bash. I know we've got that in there, then we'll put a tag P to it. And just like that, we have a root shell. That was pretty easy. And that is something that is possible because if you go all the way to the start, it was because we realized that MySQL has got some funny configuration permission set there right from the start. You see, MySQL is running as root and no password has been set for it. So that's really a bad configuration that has just been exploited to grab a root shell. Okay, so phase 1 is done. Let's check on phase 2. I'm closing this so I can expand this quickly. So we've got phase 1 done. We've got our root shell for ourselves. Now let's complete this task. Let's just read through. I think that's it. Remember to remove the temporary bash executable and exit out of the root shell before continuing as you create this file again. Okay, so they're asking us to remove that file in the temp. So if we ls the content of temp, so we've got this root bash thing in there, so we need to remove it. That's what they're asking us to do. So if I remove it, the root can we remove it from here? No such file. Oh, sorry, I didn't pass the paths. So we're moving it from temp. That should be good. So if I run the ls-l thing again, we see, oh, sorry, it's no longer there. Great. So let's clear the screen. Now I think we're going to exit from the root shell, falling back to the lower permission, a lower shell. So we've seen an example of a vertical privilege escalation, jumping from a lower to a higher. Let's look at the next task. So for this task, we exploited wrong or bad configuration, no password set for MySQL, which is running as roots. Next one is actually weak file permission. Let's go look at it. That should have something to do with the Linux permission. So here they're telling us that the etc shadow file contains user password hash, and it's usually readable only by the roots. Very, very true. Okay, great. So, but I see I was able to read that from the stats. In fact, I was able to use the cats to read the etc password file. I can read it. And I'm not a root user, you can see I'm not a root user, so but I can read this. So it means there's something wrong. The shadow file can only be but let's verify that. Let's fall back to our own host here as a normal user, maybe, and try to see. My mouse is really crazy, you know. I'm going to split this horizontal. Then I'm going to try to cut the content of, let's see, password. So I can actually read it. That's because this user, I believe, belongs to the root group, because this is my box, and this user obviously belongs to the root group. I can check the ID just to see that happening in there. Okay, great. So we see the Sudo thing happening in there. So we can actually read that content because it belongs to the root group. So I'm going to kill this and fall back to this. So let's clear this. Now that we've got that, or we can just check the ls-l on let's see password. So we can see there's read write, read. Wow, this is bad. So every other person has got read and write permission. So this is bad. There shouldn't be any flag set for this, or maybe just a read flag, but there shouldn't be the write flag set for others, because in Linux we know we've got the owner of the file, the first three, the group, sorry, the first one is the, if it's a directory, you see D there. So the first, next three is the owner of the file, read, write, executes. Then the next three is the group which the owner belongs to. Then the last three is every other person. So we see that the group has read, fine. The owner has read, write, fine. Then every other person has got read, write, which is bad, which is very bad file permission set. So let's see how we can exploit that, probably walking through this. Now they say the etc file contain password hashes. etc shadow, not password. That's shadow, because I know password does not stay in password. You just have those users, and it points to the shadow. So if you run this on the shadow, yeah, still the same bad flag set. So you can see there's read writes. So which means as this normal user, I can nano into that etc shadow file, which should not be possible actually. See, so I'm going to exit out of this. Then I'm going to show you what I mean by it should not be possible with my own box. So if I try to, as this user, if I try to nano into, let's see, shadow, even though I belong to, sorry, even though I belong to the roots group, see, it told me no way, you cannot do this, permission denied. That's what it should be in the right sense. So if I get out of this, and maybe I try to run this command again as sudo, so asking for my sudo, the root password, if I enter that, then I should be able to do that. I should be able to do that. So I'm going to exit out of that, clear the screen. Great. Just to quickly show you how that works. Then I'm going to close this, fall back to this. Sorry. So going on with this, now that we can see that there's a bad permission set on that file, they say note that the etc shadow file on the VM is world readable. Every other person can actually read it, which is bad. And we've seen that. We can view the content of the shadow file, which we also did. Each line in the file represents a user. Let's just work with them. So we'll cut that content. Let's see shadow. So we can see the user and the password hash. That's the hash of the password. Okay, great. Then we can see the root user and the hash of the password as well. Now we can as well see other service accounts in here, as well as that MySQL stuff. And there is no password actually. We just exploited that, so there's no password. You can see that. Great. So that is done, which means what we're going to be doing in this task is we're going to be cracking. We'll be using the rock.txt to crack. I see that's what this is all about. Since the bad file permission can allow us read it and write. So we're going to copy those hashes and try to crack them, or maybe crack specific ones. Maybe the root one. That sounds pretty fun. So each line of the file represents a user password hash, if they have one, can be found between the first and the second column, obviously, yes, of the line. So if you look at it, as in the case of this user, it's from this way all the way down to here. This is not part of it. This isn't a part of it. This last part isn't a part of it. Okay, so save the root user hash to the file. So we're going to copy the root user hash, and we're going to try to crack that root user hash using rock.txt. Using John, maybe I should work with hashcat. I don't know, might be pretty faster. Okay, I'm just going to use John, but I prefer using hashcat, stuff like this. So I'm going to copy the root hash all the way to this point. Great. Is hashcat a thing on this box? So hashcat is not a thing. Okay, so let's see. So I need to take this out. So that's what they're telling me. Okay, great. So maybe I fall in here and make directory. We'll call this Linux privexec. Okay, then we'll go to the Linux privexec. So we're going to make a file hash.txt. Then we're going to dump that hash in there. Then we're going to save that file. Then we can see we've got a file. We can cut the contents, and we see the hash in there. So I think I'm going to work with hashcats. And let me push this all the way to this side. I know I've got John, and maybe we'll just work with John based on what, since we're following the video. But you can do this same thing with hashcats. I will do John, then I will do hashcats. It'll be a cool way to showcase both of them. So let's keep in mind. I'm sorry about that. I was just looking at my YouTube stuff. Okay. All right, great. So now that we've got that going on, we're going to quickly run the John, and we've got our rocky.txt. Let's verify. I see it somewhere. Okay, great. It's in there. So we're going to use that. And we're going to execute that quickly. We could also try that with CrackStation. I think I should show that as well. Let's open CrackStation over there and see if we can try that first. Remember, I had said I would show a couple of maybe alternatives. So we're going to try CrackStation, see if you can crack that password for that hash for us. So we're just going to paste the hash in here. Then we're going to run this. Not the robots. Obviously not the robots. And crack the hash. So what did it throw back at us? A red. So that's bad. Not found. Okay, cool. So maybe it's not. It does Windows stuff only. Let's verify. It supports LM, NTLM. That's Windows stuff. MD2, MD4. I see bcrypts. Is bcrypts there? No, it's not there. So maybe it's not going to crack this hash for us. Or should I have cleaned? I cannot remove the $ there. That shouldn't be a thing. Give me a minute. I'm going to patch this content again and just look through. No, I don't have to, because that's the complete hash. I don't have to take anything. I'm just trying to verify if I copy the right hash all the way to 0. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to work with John and maybe do hashcat as well and see if we can use that to do the stuff. So first, let's use John as they have described in the walkthrough, because we're trying to work with them, trying to see if we can maybe work with them to do what we want to do. Then when we're done with John, I'm going to use hashcats. So on my local box in the directory where I've got the hashes, I'm going to fall back and I'm going to try the command John. Then we're using the word list. The word list is in, I think it's in user share. Excuse me. Word list. Then rock.u.txt. Raw lists s rock.u.txt. Then we're passing the hashes the text. So let's see. Done. Let's see. So we can use the command to show the all the cracked password reliably, but I see it's done, and the password is basically password 123. Okay, that was pretty cheap, but let's try hashcat stuff. This is John. It was pretty fast and give us the password, but we could try to sudo or su into roots. Let's see if that's a thing. And just like that, we are roots. We are roots ID. Great. So we're going to exit this. Then we're going to clear the screen. Then we're going to come back here and try using hashcats, just a way to show. Do I have hashcats thing here? Okay, I think it's there. So let's try to run the hashcats. We use the method 1000. It's Linux, so we use the method 1800. Then we use the A0. Then we're going to pass. We don't need to pass an output. We're just going to pass the hash, maybe. I don't know. What other command can I use here? Let me see. Then we'll pass is this gonna run? Okay. Whoa, unmatched. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the 500. Maybe just A0 should be fine. Okay, so that's doing its stuff. That should be pretty fast. Like I told you, you've got options. You could use, we used John, we got the password pretty fast. We're doing hashcat thing. This is taking a while. I'm not sure why. So my CPU is heated already, so I guess it's doing that thing that I don't love to see. But what can we say? Maybe we'll give it a shot and wait while that is rolling. We see we already have the root password, so let's just sudo into the roots user and complete that task quickly. So what is the root user's password hash? I think we still have it there. We'll paste it there. And we should get the green thing going on for us. What hash algorithm was this produce? I think it's, I'm not sure. I think it's bcrypt. John group hash identify. Did he identify it? Did we see anything like that in John? Just look around. Oh no, this is hashcats. Sorry. Yeah, this is taking its time. I think it's done. Okay, I think it's. Is it done? Yeah, I see it's done. I see it's done. So let's. This is the hash that was passed. It's telling us it's a SHA-512 crypt. So hashcats was able to identify that hash. We paste that in there and get some green. If it's good, we're good. Okay, so hashcat gave us a bit more details about the hash. Then we can see that that is good to go. We've got that thing going there, which is password 123, just like John. So we've seen there are two ways we can do for Linux. Crack Station, I'm not sure. Maybe that works pretty much well. I've used it a lot on Windows. Hash the NTLM stuff works pretty smooth. But on Linux, mostly I use hashcats. Yeah, so great. Let's move on. We've got this task done. The root password. And we can get a green. Then we'll move on quickly. We've got a bunch of tasks here. I'm not sure how fast we can finish all these, but let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Yeah, cool. So week 5 permission. This next task is writable. Okay, on the shadow. So the first one was we could read it. Now we've exploited the read permission set for global for everyone else. Now we're going to exploit the write permission sets for everyone else as well. So which means we can probably write into it, maybe make our own hash and put it in there for ourselves and authenticate as ourselves. That makes fun, you know? Cool. So let's see. What are they asking us to do? Yeah, very true. Contains the hash. Okay. It is word writable. We verified that already. So maybe we'll make our own password and go put it in there. What's more fun than that? Okay, cool. All right. So let's make our own password. So we're going to make our own password using that. Make it a SHA-512. Okay, then we'll just give it a random name, maybe just keyboard. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've got that thing going on. And we've got our own password hash. Wow, this is so cool, you know. So copy this. And we're going to go right into that. Okay, great. So let's exit this root shell. Can we sue root with our own password? Okay, I didn't copy that. I think I'm supposed to copy it and replace it to the root one. So we've got that. I'm going to nano etc shadow. If this was Windows, you could just do pass the hash stuff, right? Fun stuff to do. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way down to the point where I can replace that hash only, not everything. So all the way down here, I'm going to take it off. Then I'm going to paste our own stuff in there. So we're good to go. Let's save this and let's exit from this. Then let's sue as root. Then let's put our password. Now nothing can stop us. Good. So we're in the box and we got that thing going for ourselves. Great. So we exploited read and write on the same box. Let's complete this task. Okay, then move on to the next one. Now, this will be exploiting weak permissions on the rights, the password file, sorry, the password file. So we also saw that if we, let me exit out of this root shell quickly. So if we ls -l on, let's see, etc. password, we see that global read write is also set on this file. So for this task, I think we'll be exploiting that wrong permission, then see how that's going to work out for us. Great. So let's fall into it. Task 5 quickly. The etc password file contains information about user accounts. Very true. If we cut the content quickly, etc password, we can see details about the user accounts. We can see the group details. We can see the shells that are set. We can see the directories that they are allowed to. Let's take, for instance, we go to the user Debian. So we can see default is tool MySQL UDF. Then, oh, no. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, this is root. Okay, great. So we've got the user ID, the root I 0, group ID 0, then user is root. Then we've got the home directory is root. Then we've got the shell set as well. So it's been bash. Some of them is been sh. So that's what this file actually shows. It shows you all that clear details. I'm going to clear that, and I'm pretty fast now. I'm trying to buy some time. All right. So it is world readable. We saw that world readable, world writable. So but usually only writable by root user. So obviously you should be able to read. If we go back to the permissions, just want to show you what they're trying to talk about there. If I compare this to my local box, I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to look at ls-l on my etc. password file. So what a good way to compare. So look at the proper permissions that it should be. It should be world readable, but not writable. It should be readable and writable. Look at the owner of the file is roots, the group roots. So anybody in roots, who is roots or who is in the roots group can read and write. The roots can read and write only. Even the root group can only write. Look at that. They only have write permission. They don't have read permission. And every other person, sorry, oh my God. They only have read permission. I'm sorry about that. Not write permission. And every other person has got read permission as well. But the owner of the file, who is root, can read and write. This is what it should be, the right permission set for that file. But compare this to what we have here. The first two simple defined, but the third one is bad. So global has read write, which shouldn't be. I guess that's what we'll be exploiting, the word writable permission. Okay, great. So we've done that. What we're going to do is we're going to generate a new password hash with a password of our choice using the OpenSSL tool. So we're going to clear this and we'll see how that works for us. We use the open SSL if it's there, password. Then let's call this password again keyboard, this time keyboard. So let's generate a new password. Okay, we've got this funny thing happening here. Great. So what we're going to do now is saying edit the etc password file and replace the generated hash. So since we have write permission, it's more like similar to the first task. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to grab this thing, copy it, then we're going to nano into the etc password file. Then we'll replace the first column with this, so which means it's going to be using this password without going to look at the this mark X. We're going to replace that because that's where the password should be, but since it's not specified there, it looks at it in the shadow file but now we're putting a password in here. So which means we can actually bypass that shadow thing and use this to authenticate. Let's see if that works. Let's write this, then let's exit from this, then let's sudo root quickly, then let's put in our password. Is that a thing? Boom, just like that, we've got ourselves that root shell again. No, there are so many stuff that can be done with a root shell like this. See how cheap it is to grab a root shell if wrong file permissions are set. This is really fun, you know. Okay, moving on with this, we see we're done with this task. And let's check an ID. Oh, sorry, just so we can fill that up. Wow, this is just root, group roots, and the group ID is also roots, everything roots. Effective user ID is roots. So this is actually, let me use the term, the real roots, with anything like that. All right, great. So that should be good to go. Quickly we move to task 6. Now we're going to be looking at the sudo exploits probably. I see I've demoed something like this. I was on my Kali also once, the sudo exploits. Let's see. So there is the su to switch user, then there is the sudo to execute a command as the root user. So what this should be, let me exit out of this. I can try the sudo, maybe what can I do here? Okay, I guess I should just work with them. I was going to explain what the sudo command is, but I guess I'll just work with what they're doing here. So there's the GTF, I think was the one I used exactly. So I'm going to go quickly to GTF bin. See, I've got it opening there. I think I'd used that one, the sudo thing before. Yeah, this is it. I think I've used it before. And there is a module there which we're going to work with. So they say we go to GTF bin, we search for the program name. If the program is listed with sudo as a function, you can use it to elevate privilege. Cool. So which program are we going to be working with here? Choose a program from the list and try to gain root shell using the instructions from GTF bin. For the exact challenge, try to gain root shell using all the programs on the list. Remember to exit out of the root shell before continuing. Okay, so and search for some of the program names. If a program is listed with sudo as a function, you can use it to elevate privilege. So let's go do some GTF bin stuff. So we're just going to go in there and search for a program. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's look for a program. I'm not sure. We'll find maybe Python. Python should be it in here. Okay, that's Python 2.6. Great. So let me see the sudo for Python. I'm just going to go for Python. Is there sudo for Python? So there's sudo for Python. So let's check that out. Great. So we can do the sudo Python thing to grab a root shell. So we're going to try that according to the instruction that is given here. Say, how many programs is user allowed to run via sudo? Well, so we're supposed to search. Okay, do some reading. So let's do the sudo tactl quickly. Let's see all the programs that user is allowed to run. So there is a nmap. Wow. FCP, less awk, man, Vim. I've used this Vim one before. Cool. Nano. Wow, even Nano. Fine. So there is no Python here. So the user cannot do Python. So let's stick with what we have here. So I'm going to go back. We'll look for maybe Vim. Yeah. NOPQRSTUV. You know my ABCD. Great. So there's sudo there. So let's fall into that. Now we see, I think I'd used this one before actually. A very quick way to demo it, but let's I've used this one before, actually. I have. I will just show it again. How many programs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that a thing? 11. Is that a thing going on here? Okay, good. One GTFO program. One program on the list doesn't have a shell. So which of them doesn't have a shell? Escape sequence on GTFO bin, which is it? I have used more before. I suspect, let me check. I'm not sure. Am I getting it right? Ding ding. Okay. Is it the Apache 2 thing? I'm not sure. I think it's Apache 2. Yeah. Because I know I've used Find, I've used NanoVim, Man, Orc, Less, FCP, Nmap as well. Even more, I've used more. There was a box I used more on. So we see it's Apache 2, it's not a thing on GTFO bin. So consider how you might use this program with sudo to gain root privilege shell. Okay, so we're just going to grab the walkthrough here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do sudo vim if it's a thing. Oh, sorry, sudo vim. Okay, so this is the trick, or this is the cheat. We're going to just type this in there and call it shell. So I'm going to call it bash shell, not an sh. Bin bash. So I'm going to call it bash shell. And just like that, I've got a bash with shell. So I can check an ID. I see effective ID's roots, group ID's roots, then the groups belong to group. Very easy and cheesy, nifty trick to play around with. Now on your own, you could try all the other. We had checked the sudo. We saw. Oh, sorry. Let me exit this, and let me exit this. Okay, so we checked the sudo -l to list all the, and we saw all this stuff. You could go try for all of them except Apache on your own, but I think I'm done with that task. Save me some time. I'm quickly going to complete the task and move on to the next one. Now is environment variable. Okay, cool stuff also to do. So again, if you do the sudo -l and look around, they say check which environment variable are inherited. Look for if you keep options. So let's go verify that. If we look all the way to the top here, we can see environment variables, ev resets, ev keep plus, ld reload, ev keep plus, ld library path. So these are environment variables sets, while these are shells sets. Great, or command, sorry, sets for the user. So what this should be doing is maybe exploiting the keep functionality of the variable sets to gain root shell. Let's quickly walk through it. So sudo can be configured to inherit certain environment variable from the user's environment. True. ld preload and ld library path are both inherited from the user's environment. Okay. ld preload loads a shared object before any other when a program is run, while ld library path provides a list of directories where shared libraries are searched for first. So first it's going to search ld library path, shared libraries. Now we're going to create a shared object using the code located at the user home. So let's fall, where are we? So user home, we're going to fall one step back into, we're going to maybe go to sudo, yeah, cd sudo. Oh, sorry. Then we see the preload C program there. We can cut the contents just to look at it, what it's actually doing. Okay, standard type library. Then, okay, basically it's loading preload stuff. Then sets the switch. Then execute the command bin bash.p. We've used this command actually before, so I think we used it earlier. But great, let's clear this. Then let's work with them. All right, create a shared object using the code located in this. So let's compile that thing. GCC f PIC, but I'm just going to copy that command so I don't make that stupid mistake. And just run it quickly. Paste this in here and execute this. List the contents. So see our stuff. I think we had compiled and sent it to temp. So if we list the content of ls tag l temp, so we can see the payload thing there. Now looking at the permission sets, read, write, executes, read, execute, read, executes. So I think we can execute it as this user. So we're pretty good to go. We're going to clear that screen. Then run one of the programs you are allowed to run via sudo, listed when running sudo tag l. So let's see. We run that program while setting the LD payload environment variable to the full path of the new shared object. So we're going to do the sudo tag l thing. Then maybe we will work with nano. Probably this time around we'll do nano. So we're going to copy the command that allows us to do the environment variable stuff. Paste this here, then remove this. So we're doing this for nano, right? Let's see, just like that, we've got a good root shell ID. You see, we are roots already on the box. Now that was pretty easy. Just to walk around. Basically, since we've got that environment variable thing set, the LD library path, so we had exploited that. It's inherited by root. We exploited that from our user. We're able to exploit that to execute the program, and then use that program to spin or spawn root shell. So quickly we'll run through this. Exit out of the root shell before continuing. Depending on the program you choose, you may need to exit out of it as well. So let's exit out of the root shell, and let's exit out of nano. Okay, great. So we've got that thing working for us. Create a shared object with the same name as the one listed in the library. Okay, library script.so using the code. Okay, so let's see, where are we at the moment? So we're supposed to go to list the content of this. So there's library path, that's C. Let's cut that and see what is in there. So on set env, so we're on setting it. We're setting it back to nothing. Okay, great. Then executing the bash command again. So we're going to clear this. So we're going to compile that thing. Run the LED. Oh, my eyes. Oh. Okay, root shell. Okay, run LDD against Apache 2 program file to see which shared libraries. So let's run the LDD command. LDD. So sorry. LDD. So we're doing this on user. Oh man. User sbin Apache 2 specifically. So looking at this, we see we're checking basically shared libraries, and we can see a bunch of them actually. So they're asking us which shared libraries are used by the program. Okay, so we'll see all the shared libraries. Great. Can I list the content of this? Library path.c. And can I cut that? Okay, I think we already checked that anyways. So create a shared object with the same name as one of the listed shared library. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a shared object with the same name as one of the listed shared libraries. Then using the code located at the user home sudo library path. So let's compile that stuff. I'm going to copy this. And paste this here. Then I'm going to modify this code. Library path.c shared. So we are going to use one of these. Run Apache 2 using sudo while setting the LD path environment variable temp. We are output the compiled shared objects. Oh, okay, I see. I think I get what it's trying to do. So we just pick one of these. Maybe this should be fine. Can I run this the way it is? Okay, great. Then, because I already see we've got this library scripts so thin, and that's a thing happening here. Shared. Great. So at this point, we're just going to run the sudo Apache 2. Clear this. Is it a thing? CHE2. Oh. Oh my gosh. System city. There's no system ctl. Okay, I'm going to clear that quickly. So we do the sudo the library patch Apache 2. Then run this. Let's see. I was going to check the status and see, and we got a root shell just by executing it. So this had exploited the shared library thing the Apache 2 had set, and we had, remember, we had modified, using this, and this, if you cut that content, we can simply see it's spawning a bash shell for us as roots. So great, that's what we had exploited. The ID is roots. I'm going to exit this quickly. I think we're done with this. Now time is running against me because I have to go to work. Okay, so I'm going to complete this. Well, is it stuck now? Okay, move on to task 8. We still have quite a lot to do. Oh man, I may not be able to finish this. Maybe I will do this 2 parts. So probably I can stop at 10, then continue when I'm back from work. So let's do the cron thing. Now cron is fun. Cron is pretty fun. So we can cut the content of etc cron. So we can look at the cron tab, see the contents. We see there's some cron job already in there. So this is one thing I use mostly for persistence, if I have to be persistent. So we can see there's a cron job run as roots, override at sh, compress at sh, run as root as well. You can see this as well, run as root. There are a bunch of them there anyways. If you don't understand cron, I think I have a video that I talked about cron. I'm not sure if it's uploaded yet. I'll check. Great. So working with them, I'll skip the reading. View the content of the system wired cron tab. We just did that. Okay, that's the system wired. You can have the user cron as well anyways. I think I have a video. I'm not sure if it's uploaded. There should be 2 cron jobs scheduled to run every minute. One runs overrided sh, so we've seen both of them down here referring to, while the other run compressed at sh. Okay, look at the full path of the overrided sh. So let's do some searching. Locate overrides with sh. So we see override.sh is in user local bin. It's in user local bin. That's the full part. Okay, great. So what else are they asking us to do? Note that the file is walled. So maybe we'll go check that out. ls.l on user local bin override.sh. Whoa, once again. Okay, owner read write executes, group only read, but every other person in the world or in the internet has read and write. So word writable, bad, bad. Okay, because that thing is running as root. So you can't set it word writable, bad permissions again. Anybody who can access it can actually grab a root shell using it, just like what we're going to demo today. So with this, let's say replace the content of the override sh file with the following. So see what you're doing. We're actually setting up. Okay, okay. We're setting up a reverse shell, a basic reverse shell. The bash reverse shell thing happening there. I think I've used the bash reverse shell. I've got a bunch of. No, let me look at my screen. Maybe I can show you guys that stuff. Some sweet reverse shell stuff. Where is it? Is it this? Yeah. Let me load this up. And this is payload. Yeah, great. You can find that here as well. There's netcats. Almost all the languages you find on Linux box. So there's Bash. I think this is the one we are using for UDP. Then for TCP, TCP is the one we're using. I've used this a couple of times. I just probably may have not uploaded the video. Then there's also this online fun tool that actually you can use as well. So you see, it just saves you the stress. Instantly, you plug in your IP and the port you want to listen on, and boom, gives you the shell, shell. Cool stuff to work with. You could go look it up as well. I may put links like this in the description of the video. I think I will, just so you guys can go check them out. Great. So let's get back to the fun. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to copy this, verify my IP on my local box. I have config with the IP ADDR, then I'm going to grep for 10.8. I know it starts from 10.8, so I see this is it. So I'm going to set up a listener using nc tac nlvp. Then maybe I'm going to use ports 1990. So keep that listening. Then I'm going to, since I can write into this file, so I'm just going to nano straight up to where that file is and dump my stuff. Oh no, I'm trying to be lazy and erase this and just type nano there. So it's just this basic stuff. So what are erase this and paste our stuff in there. So we're going to modify this. The port which we had used is 90. Then the IP, which is our IP, is 10.8.182.252. I think it's all good. It's all good, and it's all good. So great. Now we've got this thing happening. Quickly, we're going to execute that script and see if it will give us the callback. All right, so, oh man, my eyes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to save this, exit out of this. Again, I want to list. Let me see, I do not have execute. So, but it's already an executable. So can I just run it? Can I just run it? cd user local in. Oh, some other fun stuff happening in here. Okay, so can we run override.sh? I know I need a sudo. I don't have sudo. So what? Replace the content of the override.sh file following changing the IP address. Okay, set up a netcat listener on your box. Wait for the cron. Oh, okay. So I have to wait for the cron. I think it's already done, and I've got the shell. I think it's done already. So I've got a shell already. I thought I was going to execute it since it was already in the cron. The cron damn, that was pretty fast. So every second or so it just runs, and instantly I got myself a shell, and I've got a root shell on my local box. Now persistence, right? this is going to keep calling me. Even if I exit this and I set up a listener again, watch what happens. Just wait for it. Once that cron job executes, again, I got a shell. This is one of the way you can actually, I've used cron most times for persistence. So this is one way you can actually maintain persistence. It's going to keep calling back at you, even if I exit it again. As long as that thing is in there and run the netcat listener, it's going to call me back. Or I could try and send this up to Metaproder shell, basic shell, or maybe pass this shell to Metaproder shell. Yeah, there are ways you can do that anyways. So I think we're going to move on with this quickly. I wanted to stop at 10 before my time elapsed. So I'm going to complete this task. We're done with it. And check the next one, cron job path environment variable. So again, path environment variable thing happening here. So I'm going to just kill all this. Since I'm done, clear this up and clear this up. Great. So we can cut the content of the cron tab. We saw that already. Cut the content of, let's see, cron tab. So we can look out for some fun stuff happening there, as well as some fun stuff happening here. So we can see a path set, right? Great. So in this case, they say note that the path variable set starts with the home user, which is our own home directory. So which means the path variable set is our own home directory. That's bad. Create a file called override.sh in your home directory with the following script. Okay, so where are we? Can I go to my home directory? Okay, so this actually creates, what is in here? Anything? Okay, it's just some stuff. So we're going to create a file called override, right? So we're going to be more like pointing the cron job to our own home directory. It's going to search there first. It's going to pick this one first, then before it goes on the other one. Well, that's pretty cool technique. Okay, nano override write.sh. Look at that quickly. Then we're going to, in this file, we're going to dump this. Then maybe change the permission on the file to executable. We'll copy this. Create a file in the home directory with the following contents. So paste this in here. So basically what it's doing is copying the bin bash, temporal bash. Okay, that thing is still there. Great. Stage mode, change it to suite, set executable on the suite, then on that file. So that's basic. So we're going to write this, exit, release the content we see is there. Then we use the ch mode to change this to an executable plus X. So it's just override.sh. Great. I have to put all that stuff. So it's in there. Great. Now at this point, we'll wait for, they say make sure that the file is executable. It's done already. And wait for the cron job to run. Should not take longer than a minute. Then wait for a minute, run the temp root bash command at P and grab ourselves a root shell. Fun. So let's wait for the cron job. So I think it should be fine now. We'll run the temp root bash. That file is there. Pass it at P. So we have a root shell, and just like that, we have a root shell for ourselves. Cool. Okay, so remember to remove the modified code. Okay, so we have to remove the override.sh stuff. Remember to remove the modified code and exit out of the elevated shell before continuing. You will create this file again later in this room. Okay, so we have to remove it because we're going to create it again. I think that's it for this. So let's remove tag, not tag R. Okay, removing the root bash, just the way we did in the other room. Then we exit out of the root shell. Okay, so I see they want an answer for the path in the cron tab. So we're going to go look at that content again. Cats etc cron tab and cron tab. Then we'll copy this. Is that what it wants? Yeah. Copy the full path thing defined there. Paste it in here. Okay, so like I said, like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a two-part video because I have to shut down after 10. So we are almost halfway through. 10 is almost halfway, not halfway, almost. Then we'll take the remaining 10 later in the day. But it's been pretty fun, right? So let's look at 10. Now it's still a cron job, but wildcards is what we're going to be looking at now, wildcards. So I think we'll be doing some MSF Venom stuff. Pretty cool. View the content of the other cron scripts. So there's another cron script which we saw, which is a compress of sh, and that one was defined in the path. So we can see there. We can maybe cut the content of it's in the user local bin, and then the compress.sh. So it's just a bash script, cd user, home user. Then there is the star. Now, if you've not seen or you've never used tar before, tar is something we used to compress, right? So we can use tar to compress or even decompress. Basically, that's what it is. So there's a backup.tar, which is compressed. So we're trying to decompress this backup.tar.z. Great. So let's see what they want us to do here. Note that the tar command is being run with a wildcard in your home directory. Very true. That's gonna be bad. Take a look at the GTFO bin page for tar. Okay, so let's go do some GTFO bin stuff. I'm loving this. It's been fun. When you watch, let me know in the comments if you're loving it as well. So this is tar. So we should look at tar. Note that tar has a command line option. Wait, so we'll go find the command line. This is shell, file upload, file download, file writes, read sudo, limited suite. Okay, so it's a shell, right? Cool. Okay. That command is being run. Where am I? Put pat as a checkpoint feature. Okay. So I think that was the thing we saw there. Checkpoint 1. Okay, checkpoint action executes and open an sh, bin sh shell. Volume. Oh man. Okay. I'm almost running out of time. See the one in there. Okay, great. So use MSF Venom. So we're going to create, I see we're going to be generating a reverse shell payload using MSF Venom. So I'm going to just grab what they have here and work with that. But before that, let me verify my IP address. Okay, so I'm going to paste this in here. Then, oh, L. That seemed like something I've done with a MacBook before. Okay, 9080. This time around, and replace this 10.10.8.182.252. Okay, I believe that's all basically. So let's create this payload. Drop it in there in our box. Okay, so we generate a payload. Then transfer the shell file to the user's home directory. Okay, so we've got the payload in the shell.f. So how do we set it? How do we transfer it in here? So I think I'm going to use, I see Python is a thing there, right? Oh, it's a small v, Python 3. It's Python 3 in here. Oh man. Oh man. 2.6, Python 3. Is it a thing? It's not. So it's Python 2.6. Okay, I wanted to use the Python server, but I think there's a Python 2 server, HTTP server. I'm not sure. I think I've used it before. I'm going to check. I want to use it to just send that thing in there. Make it easy for myself. What do you think? Oh man, I need some break, but I want to finish at 10, so we can jump and go to work because I have to go to work. Okay, so is wget a thing here? Okay, it's called a thing here. No called. Okay, well, at least there's wget. I think I'm just fine with wget anyways. So um, we'll stay. Transfer the L file to the home directory. I'm not using SCP, I'm using wget. So I'm going to stage a Python server here. Python 3 tag m http.server. I'm going to be serving this on port 9000. Then I'm going to come here and where am I? Am I in the home directory? Okay, I am in the home directory. So they're saying transfer the shell.f file to home user. So we're going to use wget. Our IP is http is 10.8.182.252 on port 9000. Then we're looking for the file. What is it saved as? Shell.elf. Then can we grab that file and put it here? Can we look at it? Okay, that works pretty smooth. Cool. So we've got the shell.elf file in there already. We're going to change the mode to an executable shell.f. So that seems pretty smooth. Cool. Okay, great. Now create these two files in your home directory. I'm just going to copy this, make it easy for myself. Paste this here, create the first one, then create the second one. So checkpoint 1, then checkpoint action executing the shell which we just created. And I'm going to stop this Python server. Obviously, we don't need it anymore. Do we need to use MSF console? No, because we're looking at Linux x64. I can use netcat to catch that shell. NC tag NLVP. What was the port I used? Oh man, I forgot. I'm gonna go back to that command and look for it. I'm sorry. It was 9080. Okay. NC tag. Whoa, the machine expired. Guys, look at that. Dang. What? What did you do to me? Did it actually expire? No, it didn't. It's still there. Crack me. What's your problem, man? Just pulling a stunt on me, right? I see you then. Okay, great. So we've got our shell.elf thing working out there. We've got the checkpoint and the checkpoint to execute the shell.elf thing. So it's 9080. Damn me. 9080. NLVP. Okay, listening. Then we've got a listening thing happening there. Okay, so what are we going to execute this? Wait for the, do we need to point it? When the tag command in the cron job runs, the wildcard, oh, just like that. Great, we didn't need to point it. So there was already the cron job in there. So I think we got ourselves a shell. It's a connection from an unknown host. I like that. Okay, this is more like just a basic shell. Okay, great, great. We can elevate this shell. I see Python is a thing there. You can use the Python stuff to stabilize the shell. Let's see if we can demo that. Is it Python? But that's Python 2, not Python 3, not Python 2. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I don't know if it's gonna work. Okay, I think we're verified that it's Python 2 on the box, and that thing is, excuse me, oh, I need some water. That thing is Python 3, I think. I think, I'm not sure. I may be wrong. Uh, is it Python 3? It's Python 3. Um, no, no, it's Python 3. Is it Python 3? Can it work on Python 2? I'm just thinking in my head, guys. Can it work on Python? Can it work? Can it not work? Can it work? Can it not work? What better way it is to verify than to try it, right? So let's see. Python taxi. We're going to import PTY. And we're going to spawn PTY spawn. I think I can actually put a space. PTY spawn. Then let's see if we can spawn a bin bash. Can we spawn a bin bash shell? Close this up. Is it a thing? Python command not found. Oh, there's no Python. Oh, but there's one for netcats, for bash, right? I've got those things happening somewhere. Where is it? I've used SoCats. I'm not sure SoCats is a thing here as well. But anyways, let's check the ID of the shell. Is it root? Is roots? I would have rather use Meta MSF console, so I can just quickly upgrade the shell to Meta Predator shell using a module in MSF console. So, but that's basically it. We've got ourselves that root shell. So they want us to clean up. So let's go clean up on ourselves. We're going to exit out of the root shell. Then we're going to go clean up. We're going to remove the shell.elf, the checkpoints. I'll just put an asterisk to remove everything. Oh, no. What's checkpoints equals 1? Is that a thing? Remove shell. Okay, clear this. Remove. Let's see. Can I remove that checkpoint thing? Organized option. Should I have passed that? Where is it? Do I need to point the home? Is that a thing? Well, why? It shouldn't be a thing, right? Checkpoints action. Okay, great. Clear this. I think we're clean. All right, I'm going to pause this here. We're done with this task, and I'm going to go to work. When I'm back from work, we will take on task 11, 12, all the way to 21 and finish this up. It's been fun hanging out with you guys. Trust me, it's been pretty fun. Cool. And I'll see you later today. Okay, bye-bye.